Hello, guys, and welcome to one of the last videos which I'm going to be sending you regarding brand planning and management. That is the fourth part of strategic brand management process. Welcome back once again, and I hope, as usual, that you guys are safe, you guys are taking care of yourself, you guys are making every effort to be inside, stay home, stay safe, stay in the hostel, wherever you are, just stay safe because we are still under lockdown and we will be in lockdown for some more time, if I'm not wrong. Look at our website www.staloysius.edu.in for further news about when the college is reopening, what are the future plans, what is the online admission this year. Everything is put up on our website, staloysius.edu.in, with the principal's message. Keep checking that for new updates. We are putting new updates so that our students are not in any form of confusion. So you stay safe, stay home. We'll try to reach you in as many ways as possible. And today's class is going to be online, and it's the last and final video of strategic brand management process. As you can see, I'm in the studio. I came to the college just for something, and I thought I'd make a video here. It's easier, lights are available, studio sound system, the soundproofing is awesome, so I don't need to worry about the sound. So let's start our last video for the strategic brand management process quickly. And before I start the previous three videos, you have seen that I have acknowledged my gratitude and my debt to this excellent book here, which I have put on the side. That is Strategic Brand Management Process by Kevin Lane Keller. Excellent book with so many different ideas, so many different concepts which are related to brand management. I think everybody who is um, going for brand management as a career or teaching brand management should own a copy of this book. Excellent book. I've had the global edition which came out a couple of years back, if I'm not wrong. It has a lot of material, and more than that, it has lots and lots of examples from the global arena. As usual, my class here, I will take as many as Indian examples as possible so that you have a roundup of a well-rounded idea about what we are talking about. So most of the stuff, not everything, but most of the stuff I am using for strategic brand management process has been taken from this book. Other materials also I have used, but examples I will try as much as possible to take Indian examples. So without further ado, let us start today's class. So let's quick recap of what we have done till now. We are actually doing series of lectures on strategic brand management process, as written over there. It's about the design and implementation of marketing programs and activities to build, measure, and manage brand equity. What is brand equity? We have taken in many other videos in the previous videos in this particular series and other videos also. And also, we have taken a lot of class examples and class definitions of brand equity. So, this is the goal of strategic brand management process, and it has four steps. We have taken three steps earlier, all three steps. Each of these steps I've made a video and I have put it up on my YouTube channel. The first one is identifying and developing brand plans. Second is designing and implementing brand marketing programs. Third is measuring and interpreting brand performance. And today we'll be going to look at the fourth step, that is growing and sustaining brand equity. The previous three steps, if you see, they're all about creating one brand or a series of brand or a collection of brand. We have, by the time we reached the third step here, first step, we have identified and developed brand plans. We have designed and implemented a brand marketing program. We created a brand. We have successful brand right now, and we have measured how this was done and what can be done in the future. Now we are looking at growing and sustaining the brand equity. We cannot stop at the third step. Any company who has well experience, any manager who has well experience knows that Building a brand is one half of the work. Growing and sustaining the brand is also very important when it comes to strategic brand management process. So fourth step, it's the most important step also, because creating a brand, making a brand is, like I said, difficult, but growing and sustaining the brand is equally difficult, but it is possible. Over the years, many different companies have successfully built brands and grown it and sustained the brand equity. So let's get into the hardcore of today's program. So step 4 is what we're going to look into, that is growing and sustaining brand equity. Okay? So that's it. What is the objective in this particular step? Every step has an objective, and in this step the objective is to sustain, nurture and grow brand equity under various situations and circumstances. A company, a product, a brand, a service, a human being, an idea, it can be anything. They will face lots of circumstances which can be predictable, sometimes they are not predictable. Look at where we are right now. We are under a lockdown. We are facing corona pandemic. For the last 1 month or so, most of the world is under lockdown. Companies have to be, I'm sure most of the companies have not even uh, anticipated this particular move. The ones that have, well and good, but not many would have done this. So in this situation, how do you sustain the brand? How do you grow the brand? How do you keep the brand in people's mind so that after the lockdown is over, the brand comes back more powerful, more successful than ever? It can be a scandal. It can be the one which Cadbury's had, the worms, remember? Cadbury's came out stronger than it used to be. We have discussed about Johnson and Johnson in the US market where it had been tampered, and there were a lot of deaths relating to the tampered Johnson and Johnson product, Tylenol, right? But Johnson and Johnson came out well. So it's all about anticipating various situation and circumstances and keeping the plans, keeping the process, keeping the reactions to them ready. I also urge most of the students to understand that you should always be proactive. Companies and people should be always proactive. Don't wait for something to happen, or don't wait for something to happen. Keep your plans ready. You never know what might happen at what time. Always have a plan B, C, D, E. That's my way of saying to you people all the time, right? So, first thing we need to understand in growing and sustaining brand equity is something what we call brand architecture. There are many things which come under brand architecture, but brand architecture, the most important thing is that it is a architecture. It's like a phrase used to define how a company structures itself in relation to its brands or its sub brands. How is a company related to a particular brand or sub brand? Is the brand known under the parent company? Like, for example, you might be talking about Reliance Geo. That could be one way of saying that brand architecture. The real Geo relies on the main brand Reliance, or is it like Titan, which is owned by Tata, but not many people know it. So it's a phrase used to define how a company structures itself in relation to its brands or sub brands. It's a company's positioning and how it presents itself to the consumer. We have discussed what positioning is in the previous video, in many other videos, and also in the class. Positioning is one of the most important. By now, you realize that the word positioning is coming again and again. It's a recurring topic. So, understand what positioning is. You can look at the previous videos to see what are the positioning, the points of parity, points of um, difference which make up a positioning. Positioning is basically what the company wants the public to think about its brand or the products. It's not the brand itself, because brand elements is positioning plus what the company, with what the market and the consumers think about it, right? But positioning is also as important as the concept of brand. So brand architecture is also a company's positioning and how it presents itself to the consumer or customer. What are the other elements of brand architecture? Brand architecture determines which brand elements to apply across all new and existing products. Do we brand it along with the main brand, or do we brand it separately? Do we use the same color, right? Or do we have something else? So those are the things which are decisions taken at the brand architecture level. It also means to help consumers understand those products and services and organize them in their minds. Now, if I say Sunfeast as an example, there are many things which might come to your mind. There are 14 of you listening to this video, hopefully. 14 of you will have 14 different brands when I said Sunfeast. It's not really guaranteed that you are going to remember Sunfeast bourbon biscuits for that matter. Now you will, because I have said it. But otherwise, when you say Sunfeast, what do you um, what comes in your mind? So brand architecture helps consumers to structure products, brands, services, all those things within their mind. Okay. So the role of brand architecture is twofold. It is to clarify brand awareness and improve brand image. Brand awareness, we have discussed in the last video, is how aware or how popular a brand is within the market. Do they recall the brand? Do they know about the brand in the first place? And do they have good brand recall? Right? If I ask you for a toothpaste, there are chances that you might be talking about Colgate. There might be chances that you might be talking about Close Up. There might be also chances that you're talking about Patanjali Dant Kanti, right? Some of you might also say Sensodyne, but Sensodyne is not as aware. People are not as aware of Sensodyne as, let's say, of Colgate. Sensodyne is perceived and it is a more expensive brand. They might know the brand, but not many people would have understood that what are the benefits of um, Sensodyne. So, what is brand awareness? Clarify what the brand stands for. That is the first thing, and improve brand image. Constant, constant, one single, most important objective in any strategic brand management process is improving brand image. Okay, so those are the two things. So let's see the first step. Let's define the brand potential. What are the first step in growing and sustaining brand equity? First step is defining brand potential. It's to develop an architecture strategy. We're still talking about brand architecture here. um, Brand potential is the first step in developing an architecture strategy is to define the brand's potential. What is the brand capable of and what is the brand not capable of? By considering three important characteristics: the brand vision, the brand boundaries, and the brand positioning. If you have seen the Sprite advertisement, which have come in the recent thing, Sprite bujaye only pyas, baki sab bakwas. That is a tagline, which means that Sprite's only job is to quench your thirst. Rest everything is actually nonsense. That is the literal translation of the phrase. You're saying what is the brand for? It's just a funny way of uh, showing what is the brand capable of and what the brand is not capable of. So the brand vision, brand boundaries. What is the boundary which the brand has kept for itself? Right? What is the brand known for? Now there are so many things which Coca-Cola may be known for. Some of them the company wouldn't want. Mentos and Coca-Cola put together, you've seen a lot of videos on YouTube. What is the reaction which comes out? But that's not what the companies, neither Mentos nor Coca-Cola, would want. But that is what so many things are. We're not talking about that here, even though that is part of the wider brand um, image which the brands might have cultivated. Positioning, again, you see this very important term, positioning comes here. So defining brand potential has three events. One is the brand vision. What is the long term vision for the brand? Is it for, um, let's take Baiju for example. The Baiju's vision was always to provide awesome, good content, good quality content, e learning for all people. So that was their vision, and their boundaries was we are looking to target this particular target audience. We're not targeting the adults too much. We are looking at the teenagers. And now they have tied up with Disney to target the 2 to 3 years, two to second standard, third standard, first standard target audience. Very different vision for both, with very different boundaries for both, and very different positioning for both. Read Baiju's case study. It's very fascinating how they have built the brand throughout the last 4 5 years. Okay. So step two is identifying brand extension opportunities. What is brand extension? We have discussed brand extension. We'll discuss it a little more here also. It's identifying new products and services to achieve that potential through a well designed and well implemented brand extension strategy. A brand extension is a new product introduced under an existing brand name. Okay, we differentiate. By we, I mean Kevin Lane Keller in the book Strategic Brand Management Process, which is an excellent book which I recommended in the beginning of this video. They differentiate between line extension, new product introduction within existing categories, and category extension. For example, the first example would be Tide Total Care Laundry Detergent. Product introductions outside existing category, it might be Tide dry cleaners retailer outlets. Okay, remember I was telling you about Colgate entrees, that is food products which were developed by Colgate. Nobody bought it. It didn't go off well because Colgate is not known for food products. It is known for after food products, that is brushing and keeping your teeth clean after having the food, but not really doing um, food products. Okay, so that would be a outside category extension, that is trying something very new. It's important to try something new, but it's also important to define and differentiate your positioning, define your boundaries. Remember Harley Davidson perfume, the failure. Okay, the step 3 is branding new products and services. The final step, that's the last step in developing the brand architecture, is to decide on the specific brand elements to use for any particular new product or service associated with the brand. Okay, new products and services must be branded in a way to maximize brand's overall clarity and understanding to the customers, consumers and customers. Now, important thing to realize here is that repeat customers are more profitable than new customers. Getting a new customer will cost 3 to 4 times more marketing money than an existing customer. An existing customer is a person who doesn't leak from your brand, your product, your service to another brand. Whether it's okay if the person leaks from one brand A of your own company to another brand B of your own company, like Pampers, newborn babies, target audience leaking into Pampers diapers for 2 years old, because the newborn diapers will not fit a 2 year old. Um, but as long as they're standing inside the periphery of Pampers should not be worried too much. That kind of leaking is okay, but imagine leaking from Pampers to Huggies, or Pampers to Himalaya, or Pampers to Mami Poco pants. Not happening for them. It's good news for the other brands, but not good news for Pampers. So new products and services must be branded in a way to maximize the brand's overall clarity and understanding to consumers and customers. Every time you coming up with new stuff, remember, clarify the goals. A newborn pamper is not the same as a 2 year old pamper. So it's very important for the customers to understand the difference and the benefits and features of each new product or brand you are introducing. What names, looks, and other branding elements are to be applied to the new and existing product for any one brand? If you look at Sunfeast, Sunfeast has so many biscuits. First, they started with milk biscuits, they started with cream biscuits, but one of the plus points of Sunfeast and why they have reached to the one of the top levels in last 8 years or so, when since they have launched biscuits and launched the products, is because they look at innovativeness. They look at the ways which they can satisfy the customers desire for different types of biscuits, different types of cookies, different types of cream biscuits for that matter. Okay, so they come up with really new stuff, and that's why they have reached. ITC has done a very fundamentally very good job when it comes to marketing as well as creating new and better products. And it's up to ITC to decide, in this biscuit, am I looking putting Sunfeast or am I bringing up a new brand here? Okay, it's Britannia's choice. For example, if you take Britannia, it's Britannia's choice to decide whether in this biscuit we are going to put our branding element or not. So these things are important when it comes to branding new products and services. There are three types of brand architecture. This is now, we have taken three steps. Now we're looking at three types of brand architecture. This is pretty easy to understand when it comes to brand architecture. Three types of brand architecture, or three types of brands, you can say. I'll give you Indian examples as much as possible for these three types. First, there is the master brand. This kind of brand is like the company is the brand. Under the master brand, all sub brand operates under the main brand. Can you give me an example of this? The company is becoming a brand. If you look at the outside world, the international world, you can say Apple is a master brand. All the sub brands operate under the main brand. If you look at Indian market, can you give me some example? How about Airtel or Vodafone for that matter in the Indian context? All the sub brands operate under the main brand, right? There is no something else which comes from Airtel. It is always Airtel or always Vodafone, but there's always Reliance Jio. There are two things, Reliance and Jio. We'll come to that in the next type. So the first type is the um, master brand. Under the master brand, all sub brands operate under the main brand. All products would be Hewlett Packard or Google products. I'm giving examples from the book here, but I've also given you oral examples from the Indian market as I promised. All products would be HP or Google products, Google Mail, Gmail, or Google Duo, Google Android. Everybody knows Android is not branded as Google Android, but we know that Android belongs to Google because they make sure every time that you have to sync with this, sync with that, sync with this, sync with that. So you even though it's not branded like other products like Google Android, we know that Android belongs to Google. So that's the first brand, the master brand type of architecture. One main company which has um, many different sub brand, but it's always the second one is the second model is the endorsed brand, in which each sub brand retains distinctive positioning yet operate under a main brand. Here we can take an example of Reliance Jio, right? Reliance is the main company, the mother company, the parent company, and Jio is the endorsed brand. Jio is given more importance, but you still have Reliance Jio written there. Or we can take Reliance Petrochemicals. Petrochemicals is given more importance, but we still have Reliance over there. It allows sub brands to leverage the credibility of the main brand. It yet still targets specific markets and customers. Geo has by now 350 million in 2020. We are talking about April 2020, 330 or odd subscribers. It came just around 2016 or something, but it has already captured around 30% of the market because of good quality. I'm sure. I'm not a Geo user, so I'm not very familiar with how good or bad the quality is, so it's not my way to pass judgment on that. But they have done something, I'm sure, through marketing, through giving good products, through giving things. We can also remember here that Reliance Jio is a known brand. People go for Reliance Jio, but Reliance also Jio TV. Then they have something, all those things they have not picked up. Okay, Reliance Jio TV. Now Reliance Jio is an endorsed brand. Again, we have Jio TV, where TV is the sub brand and Jio becomes the mother brand. So Reliance Jio TV, no, it's Jio TV, but that has not picked up very well as much as they would have wanted. They still have competition from Netflix and Amazon Prime and many other um, online content providers. But you understand what a endorsed brand is. There is a sub brand. The sub brand is given more importance, but there is a main brand also, which leaves us with the third category. Can you guess what the third category would be? I'm sure by now you have understood there are three categories. First is the master brand, one brand, all the brands are branded like this. Second is the endorsed brand, and the third is the house of brand. Correct? If you have guessed it right, things like PNG, ITC, Marico, Britannia, Parley, they're all comes under house of brand. But some of the products of Britannia can be called as endorsed brand, like Britannia Marie Gold. Britannia is there and Marie is there, so Britannia Marie becomes an endorsed brand more than a house of brand. But if you look at PNG or if you look at Unilever, ITC has so many things. It has Atta, Ashirwad Atta, if I'm not wrong. It has hotel, chain of hotels. Chain of hotels is definitely an endorsed brand because they say ITC something something for the hotel name, ITC hotel name. But Sunfeast, they don't say ITC Sunfeast. Sunfeast is branded as a separate thing. So third model is the house of brands where there is a main brand, main company, but that main company doesn't come very often in the limelight. The brands come in the limelight. For example, Ariel, Tide, Head and Shoulders, Parachute. Marico Parachute is a parachute. We have taken the example of Parachute in one of the previous videos. Parachute, like I said, is a brand owned by Marico, a company which comes nowhere except in the bottle, but Parachute is known as separate brand. So large number of products, many of which have been marketed for decades under the product name, not the company name, not the first one. The third one is the house of brands. So there are three types of brand architecture. The basic principle for designing a brand portfolio is to, sorry, I didn't give an example. There's some problem with the changing of the slides. I think some um, problem here because I'm using smartphone for doing the PPTs also. Sometimes it becomes difficult to follow my own standards which I have set for myself. So brand portfolio, next topic is brand portfolio. The basic principle in designing a brand portfolio is to maximize market coverage so that no potential customers are being ignored. Minimize brand overlap so that brands aren't competing among themselves to gain the same customer approval. Sometimes what happens is, okay, what is a brand portfolio? We'll come to that. We'll come to that first. A brand portfolio is a number of products which a brand offers. Like I have this much of products which I will offer. Reliance has Reliance Jio as a brand, Reliance Petrochemicals, Reliance Finance. Let's take SBI for that matter. SBI has SBI Banking Services, SBI has SBI Insurance, SBI Life, SBI Insurance itself has many other things. Then they have SBI Mutual Funds. So these are different types of portfolios which they have. The portfolios means what are the different kinds of products the company would like to offer and is offering. Each brand should have a distinct target market and positioning. Again, the word positioning comes. So the basic principle in designing a brand portfolio, when you're creating a number of products, that's what I mean by designing a brand portfolio. Maximize market coverage so that no potential customers are being ignored. For example, if you look at SBI mutual funds, they have mutual fund. We're not talking about portfolio related to mutual funds here. That's a different type of portfolio. Um, Mutual funds, they have so many schemes which they have introduced. They have life saving life sorry they have tax saving schemes, non-tax saving schemes. They have SIPs which you can do monthly, or you can have a lump sum kind of thing, invest in that. So there are different types of things. Everybody is covered. Like if I want to invest a lump sum money into mutual funds for a period of 5 years or 10 years, I can do that. Or if I want to pay a monthly amount of 10,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, or I can break them into 5,000 for tax saver, or I can break them 5,000 for non-tax saving, which gives me more benefit. Uh, so I am covered totally. If somebody else, my wife or my dad, my mom wants something else, they have different types of schemes. So nobody is ignored, no customers are ignored, and minimizing brand overlap so that brands aren't competing amongst themselves. A lump sum, a lump sum is when you take, let's say, 5 lakh rupees and invest together. You don't invest after that. For 5 years, you don't touch it. Whatever you get after 5 years is your money. Five lakhs plus whatever your investment has earned. That is lump sum. Recurring is if I say 10,000 rupees per month, which means that I'm giving 1,20,000 rupees per year. So I have both. Like I have both options with me. But I should, as a company, SBI should make sure, or any banking service should make sure that they are not overlapping with each other and competing with each other. Target audience should be done properly. As a lecturer, as a person who has a salaried income, I would rather go for a monthly investment rather than a lump sum, which is more important, more fancy for a business person who has the lump sum money to invest. So overlap will not be very advisable when it comes to making brand portfolio. So that's it, guys, about these four videos you have seen, and we already crossed 31 minutes. I always try to keep these videos within 20 minutes, but somehow it goes to 30-35 minutes. um but I think this is the last video which I will be sending you. You can expect some notes, you can expect some other couple of things which are left out in the syllabus. I will send them across as notes. If I have time, definitely I'll make a video out of it. But they are important, but they wouldn't require me coming and explaining something, giving too much of examples. They're very straightforward topics which can be provided notes. But let me know if you need. I'll send you notes in a couple of days for the other topics, remaining topics. Political communication is almost done. One or two topics are remaining, which I will send again notes. Anything you want me to make a video of, you want me to explain something, you can call me. Or if you want me to make a video out of it, please let me know. I have a lot of time now, locked down, doing nothing. Of course, I'm working on my PhD and other admission duties here, but otherwise, students are more important for us than any of the things. So let me know if you need anything else. Thank you for listening. Hope I have provided enough and more material for your lockdown period. I've seen that most of you have seen the videos, so it makes me happy that there are views. At least 14 views. I can see that 14 people are seen that. I convinced myself that all of you have seen. I'm sure all of you have seen this. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. So one last time, let me remind you, Corona safety. And I've been telling this all most of the videos, but once again, let me remind, safety is very important, guys. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you when I will see you, and keep yourself safe. Thanks a lot for watching.